collaboration is happening. And even more happy to see Manish here, as you know, today we are really all looking forward to him. I mean, they are members of ISA, so it's great to have an ISA member today talking here, and we are in the evening looking forward to hearing his insights. I personally think if you look at our country, there's some conversation we were having recently, and we said we are very fortunate to be in the right country at the right time in the world right now. Maybe there's no better place right now, or better country which is placed to have a huge growth story unraveling over the next maybe 10 to 15 years. It will be great to see how the next 2 or 3 years farm out, and I'm really looking forward to hear Manish as to how he sees the year gone by and how he sees the next 2-3 years coming by. So without wasting any more time, I think let's just get started and look forward to getting Manish and having a conversation with all of you over the evening. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's extend a warm welcome to Mr. Manish Anandani, the Managing Director, India at Kenvue, the world's largest consumer health company.
This is what Kenvue is. In terms of its purpose, our purpose is very profound. Our purpose is realizing the extraordinary power of everyday care, and this is what we believe, that daily care routines and small moments of care is what we have, which can have a profound impact on the consumer's life, and that's where the purpose comes from for Kenvue. What is happening in the country is that our consumers are spending much more than what they were spending earlier. If you look at on the left-hand side chart, right, this is the household saving percentage of GDP. It's coming down. In other words, people are able to spend much more on the consumption than they were spending earlier. And on the right-hand side is the spend by the government, which is also putting much more money into the consumer hand. Right? So overall, this is driving the consumption and the growth which you saw in the previous chart of the country. India is a very young and a large working population. You can see that almost 2/3 of the population will be the millennial or Gen Z by 2030. And that has a huge impact on the way we actually talk to the consumer as we go ahead. If you look at this chart, there are different types of consumer segments which are coming up. Earlier we used to say high income, medium income and low income. But that's not necessarily the case anymore, right? And there are different kinds of consumer which are coming up, and there are sophisticated rich, there are conservative rich, and you can see the line, and I'll just speak about one, and rest is very self-explanatory. So for example, sophisticated rich, these are the people who are really looking for best-in-class product. And that's why you see a significant rise in premium products. Then also the young consumer, right? We just talked about earlier that India is going to be very young population. And if you look at this, right, the digital is here to stay, and digital is changing the game completely. And if I cannot emphasize enough to the fact that digital is going to be the way we do business, and because if you have a purpose for a brand, and if you're able to bring that purpose to life with the brand proposition, then really consumer is able to connect very easily.
Get one of the industry leaders, one of the CEOs who runs the large businesses, and get them to really reflect back on what were the great highs or lows of the past year, and how, obviously crystal gazing always is a tough one, but how do they see the prospects on the coming years? You know? So I think the industry has obviously adapted to the millennials' consumer behavior. And I think that's not the new piece at all, because we know what exactly triggers and barriers are for them. And that's something which has taken shape over a period of time. I think one of the pieces which obviously we still have to learn better is the next generation which is coming in, which is the Gen Zs, who very soon in the coming 5, 6, 7 years would be the earning class, you know. And they, like any generation, brings a very, very different thought process. So I think Gen Zs are obviously they are the first digitally native generation, you know.
How is advertising industry looking at the emergence of AI?
Oh, I think that is something which is it's a challenge, it's an opportunity. I think that's what I'd say. So I can tell you, I mean, this is a damn big opportunity where solutions are coming to the fore, to problems which otherwise would have never existed. So I think that's a great opportunity. At the same time, I think the challenges are that AI is still an evolving field. It has its own challenges of what could be the do's and don't guidelines of using AI for brands.
The most difficult advice an advertiser finds difficulty in following is when we tell them, let's come out in the open and talk to the consumer. Because every company hopes and prays that by keeping quiet, it will somehow blow away. But it never blows away. In fact, it's very often become bigger. That, to my mind, was very interesting. And I think his advice was very relevant. And
so in the wake of everything that happened with Patanjali, talk to us about how companies greenwash their brands while advertising, and how do consumers stay alert?
I think more than consumers is companies have to stay alert, because if you cross the line without taking names, you will always find it'll catch up with you at some point in time. I'll give you an example. I built my career in a company, Amul, which is Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. I've worked with them in 40 years, a 75-year-old brand. It's 75,000 crore plus, will be 80,000 crore this year. They managed it. It's a cooperative brand. They do so many food products they make. They never make claims. Dr. Kurian had set out certain tenets, and you never cross the line on that. So whether you be always Indian, there are many things. You'll be always good value for the consumer, good value for the producer. So I think if you get the basic principles right and you play within those, this is the boundary you're playing in, you'll never go wrong.